We are here at the Trojárová mine, just 30 minutes outside Bratislava, and 1.5 kilometers in that direction is Europe's largest antimony deposit, originally drilled and explored by the Russians 40 years ago. They used it, or they wanted to use it for their ammunition. The Cold War came and the project stopped. But 2 years ago, Canadian and Frankfurt-listed company called Military Metals bought that project, and now I'm here with Scott Eldridge, the CEO. Welcome. It's a nice spot for an interview. Give us a brief idea where we are standing with the project now. I mean, the antimony situation is somehow known by the people now. It's a metal that we need for munition and other stuff. The Chinese play yo-yo with it. Resilience we all know about. So the details of that mine and the next steps, I think that's what's interesting now.
Right, Stefan. So yeah, we're standing deep in the adit of the Trojárová deposit that was meant to be a mine in the past. So the adit we're in, it's not an exploration adit, it's a production adit. When they drilled the project out in the 1980s, they drilled 63 holes and defined a Soviet-era resource, and it was advancing towards being a mine. But then in 92, as you said, the Cold War ended and everyone literally walked away, and the project sat dormant for decades. Going back about 2 years ago, we saw a critical mineral storm brewing in the sense that we knew China, or had a suspicion that China would start to play trade war games using critical minerals as a weapon, basically. And what they did with antimony is they started off with export restrictions, which then led to an export ban, which shot the price of antimony from about $12,000 a ton up to $60,000 per ton. And it's arguable that China artificially kept the antimony price low for decades, including other critical minerals. That's their strategy to prevent the Western world from building its own mines and having its own supply. But with these export bans, it's shot the price much higher, making this project highly economic, but even more importantly, more strategic to Europe, because this is the one and only antimony project in Europe that a company is actually advancing. And we're on the doorstep of a NI 43-101 resource. So we're making the Soviet resource modern compliant, and we've drilled 7 additional holes recently into the project to complement the historical 63. Then we'll immediately go into a preliminary economic assessment, which will give a snapshot of the economics of the project, which we think will have a very low capex and has an opportunity to marry up with a European offtake partner. And that would give Europe an opportunity to have control of its own antimony supply within the European Union.
Okay, so that means that within the next couple of months, all that, and that's important, the independent analysis of that project will become public, and that is usually the stage where the big investors, the institutionals come in, where potential offtake partners come in these days, strategic investors, and very important as well, the opportunity for grants and subsidies from Berlin, Brussels, and other organizations. That's the point where they look at it, because then they know it's real and it's realistic and they have the numbers. Is that correct?
Exactly. So we're about to go through that pivotal transformation for any mining company. So we're currently in the exploration phase, but in a matter of weeks, we're immediately transitioning into development. The NI 43-101 resource is the foundation of the building to then start to build the next steps of development. And you're totally right. Right now, our shareholder base is primarily retail, a few high net worth individuals. Some fund managers own it on a personal basis. But we're at that major inflection point where once we have a resource, that will open up the door that mining analysts can cover us. Institutional investors can become shareholders. Offtake partners will know what our production profile looks like. So it's a major important milestone for the company to finish the resource and the PEA, and that would probably come hand in hand with a re-rating of the company.
Okay, and as a snapshot, we have about a third of the demand in Europe that you can supply. We are around 120 million capex, which is not a lot because of a lot is already here.
Correct.
And when will you go into production then, in a good case scenario?
So after the PEA, we would jump into a feasibility study. That would take 12 to 18 months to finish. And the feasibility study is sort of the final financial and engineering document that would signal to us to start construction of the mine. And it couldn't come at a sooner time. The European Union really needs this project, and we're happy that we're on the doorstep of getting support from the EU. As you said, it could come in the form of equity, grants, project finance loans, The European Union is trying to play catch up to the US, which has been more aggressive in accelerating critical mineral projects faster. But Europe is not too far on the heels of the US. And this project has an opportunity to be one of the Lighthouse projects for Europe to keep the mining, the processing, and the offtake all within the EU, so the antimony would never leave the continent.
Excellent. Lighthouse project, that's the right word. So we meet again here soon when the machine starts working.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.